Coming up next on Get Caught in a Net.
You are now tuned in to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette, where your host, Annette Harris, analyze intriguing life questions and concerns, such as, do Christians suffer from mental illness? Have you wondered why they act abnormal? Or you may ask, what is really going on in their minds? Do you need Annette? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
I'm talking to you guys. Hey, welcome to another wonderful segment of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. I'm your girl. I'm the host of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette Harris. I am also the CEO of Get Caught in a Net Incorporated, your certified positive mental health ambassador and author of that nominated bestseller, Surviving a Silenced Heartbeat. Listen, guys, come on in. I know it's Friday. It's the 13th. It's 12 noon Central Standard Time, and I am featuring a wonderful, great segment of Mind, Body, and Soul on today. We are continuing on with our third installment of Authors Unite to Get Caught in the Net. And I am so excited to be here because I'm going to feature two more authors that have been nominated through the Distinguished Authors Guild. It's a wonderful guild, and we started off interviewing individuals on last Friday, if you will, as a matter of fact. And so then we had two guests in, including the not including the owner, the founder, Gina Gatson. And then on Wednesday of this week, we interviewed three more authors, and I'm just so excited to be able to make this collaboration and network with these individuals. So I'm going to bring on to the stage young lady that I met with the other authors, and she has. My goodness, she has a great story to tell, to talk about on today. We are going to feature Tamika Strickland. She's our first guest up on today. So let me bring her in from the virtual waiting room. Come on to the stage, Miss Strickland, Evangelist Strickland. I know she's got a few titles there. How are you doing?
I am well. Thank you for this opportunity.
Good. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for consenting to join us on today. Listen, guys, again, I know you're not used to seeing me on a Friday afternoon, but if you would do me a favor and just oblige me on today while I highlight these wonderful authors and talk to them about their books, talk to them about their nomination, and also about this Red Gala that we are going to partake in on next month. But yeah, I'm excited about that as well. But yeah, let's jump right in, but before I get started, let me tell you, there are a few different ways to listen to us on today. I'm on Facebook, Annette Get Caught in Net, on Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette on Facebook, also on YouTube at Get Caught in Net, and then on Instagram at Get Caught in Net. So if you're watching us live, you can catch it, or you can always come back and watch it in its entirety at your convenience. Okay, so it's always there for you and it's available for you to watch. And make sure you support these authors that I am highlighting as well. They've done a great thing and put pen to paper and have brought us great content. So we want to talk about them on today. So Tamika Strickland is a gifted author, ambassador, and mentor. She has a love for speaking about God's healing power, and love led her to write her first book, Identity Deception: From Wounds to Worship, The Raw Life Story of Evangelist Tamika Strickland and this happened in 2019. Oh, okay, all right. I get it. And I see when it was published. In 2020, she was blessed of healing and deliverance. She was given the opportunity to share her testimony in 2021 with Rally Up magazine as a mental health warrior, survivor of abuse and depression. She was featured. Let me tell you where she was featured. A few places in KISH magazine, Fierce Voices of Destiny. In 2021, she was featured as a co-author on a 21 author bestseller called Fierce Women Roaring into Purpose, From Pain to Purpose. I think I heard about that collaboration. Okay. She's also written inspiring articles about deliverance. She had a feature article in the Changed Movement. And then this is a platform for men and women who have been delivered from homosexuality and share their experiences on how Jesus changed their lives. In March of 2022, she was blessed to be a co-author of I Am a Black Woman Next Level bestseller. She continues to soar as a prophetic voice for Jesus and anointed scribe for the nations. All right, you see, this is, I mean, and I haven't even read everything, guys. You see everything that she has done, acquired, been a part of, collaborated. And this is a great thing. So we're going to highlight her today. So her book, again, Identity Deception from Wombs to Worship, is available at Amazon.com as a paperback and an ebook. And what I'm going to do is to make sure that I put it into the comment section so that while we're talking on today, you'll know where to go and purchase her book, because we want you to do that. So, whew, that was a mouthful. My goodness, you have a lot that you've accomplished already. And I'm just going to throw this in here. She told me a little early she gets a little nervous with these interviews. I don't see how, because you done some of everything, and God has blessed you. There should be no need for nervousness, but that's okay. I get it. I understand. So talk to us about who Tamika is in your own words. I know I've read your bio, well, a portion of it, but talk to us about who you are in your own words. If someone was to ask you, who is Tamika? What would you tell them?
Well, I'm the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus. I'm a woman who thirsts after righteousness, love, peace, joy. I am someone that loves to mentor teenagers. I'm a life coach. I'm just someone that wants to do the will of God, really, on
Okay.
a daily basis.
On a daily basis. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so obviously she is very modest and she's just told us a little bit, but that's good because she summarized it as to her, she just wanting to do God's will, and that's admirable. How did you get to this point in your life where you said, I just want to make sure I do God's will? Give us a little backstory about you, and then maybe we can kind of flow into talking about your book. What's the backstory of Tamika?
Well, Tamika was abused sexually at 8 years old.
Mhm.
And from that point, the spirit of perversion was on her. So I came from that molestation, guilt, shame, body morphia, and all of these things from that touch as a child really kept me bound. Like that inner torment I walked in, I talked in. I never knew how to dress. I never knew how to really like just this, like the eye contact that I'm giving you. Like I didn't know how, because my broken pieces was evident on the outside and on the inside, but I never knew that I was touched really until later on in life. But I was always angry. And a child that's angry all the time, parents, you need to take a look at that, because a little child, little Meek should have been angry as much as I was. So growing up, just having that background from all of that, I walked around defeated.
Okay.
I didn't know anything about God. I didn't grow up in church, and I just walked around defeated. So later on in life, I got introduced to drugs, alcohol and drugs, and that euphoria feeling that I felt kept me soaring, so I thought, until I
Okay.
came down. But I got clean and I was introduced to this lesbian lifestyle because what I know from trauma,
Hmm.
abandonment, and rejection turned me into someone that um, wasn't real to me. It became real, but when I looked in the mirror, I couldn't identify who I truly was. And like I said, because I didn't know God, I thought it was okay. But the abuse, it kept me, like at first, I didn't walk and talk as that man at first. But the deeper I went into this lifestyle, I couldn't even identify who I was. So when I
Wow.
got clean, I continued to walk in this lifestyle. And then once I got saved, oh, Jesus. When I got saved is when the turning point of my life. Not understanding that, oh, thank you, Holy Spirit. But the inner pain, he began to take it away. And even though it didn't change on the outside right away, I began to want to do God's will by
Yeah.
meditating on the word. In Romans 1, I don't judge no one because I was in that lifestyle for 30 years, but I knew that when I surrendered my will and my life over to Jesus, things began to change to a point where I had women that would take me shopping because all I ever did was beeline to the men's room. And they would take me shopping because I was uncomfortable in my skin. See, people don't understand that when you're living in that lifestyle, and once you turn that lifestyle over, it won't happen overnight. It's a
Yeah.
process. Until you get sick and tired of yourself and understand where the real pain came from, the abuse, the abandonment, the rejection from my father, that
Yeah.
once I lay down the lifestyle, then I got to deal with the trauma that caused all of that and
Hmm.
the inner hatred that I felt, the abuse that I walked in. Like when you are walking in a place of self-hatred, and
Oh my goodness.
love,
All right, guys, we're
you,
gonna bring her back in. We had a little. You kind of popped out a bit on us. Are you
I can
back?
I can see you.
Okay. All right. So let's you popped out a minute. So I'm trying to figure out where you went, where you left off at, because you were talking about the trauma and everything, and how you after you gotten delivered. So I'm not sure if you remember where you cut off
Right.
at. You can
Well,
back
what
up.
happens is once you lay down a behavior, a lifestyle, then you have to deal with the real trauma of what happened to little Meek Meek. And with that, I cried, because once you start to bear the nakedness, because what
Hmm.
happens, like when you say, God, help me, I didn't think God was going to take away the lesbian lifestyle because that was my pain, that was my comfort. But what he
Okay.
did, he took away a lifestyle that's all I knew. I could hide behind the pain of it all. I could dress and not identify as that woman. And it was trying at times to the point where I was like, oh my God, suicidal thoughts, just the bitterness of it all. It's so
Hmm.
many different things that I can go into, but I'm saying like it's a daily process. You get to know who you are and whose you are when you get saved. Romans 1 really woke me up. And from that point forward, I just kept going and
Yeah.
seeking and thirsting after God's righteousness.
Wow.
Amen.
I want to ask you a quick question because you said something that I hear a lot when, unfortunately, children have been abused or molested, when they were younger, I've heard more often than not that they don't remember until maybe their later years after they became an adult, or that they didn't know that they had been abused. Um, and that's really, I mean, that tears in my heart first and foremost. But I have heard that time and time again, where sometimes, and then sometimes it doesn't come out until years later. Maybe they've written a book and they just kind of remember stuff at that point, right? Why do you think that is? Is it just that, was that just that defense mechanism, um, that they experienced when they were young, and then it just kind of like shut down that portion of their life? Maybe because they either didn't know that that's what happened to them, or they don't want to, bring it out maybe all those years until, a certain point in time. What do you think that is?
Well, for me, it was suppression. When I was clean in 2000 and I began to do step work,
Mm-hmm.
during this fourth step, it was like a personal inventory. And what happened was, wow, it came into my remembrance. I knew I was angry. I knew that I was chasing so many different things. And I went into therapy. I was told that the things that I was chasing at 3 years old, masturbation, she said it was learned behavior. Like it was something that a 3-year-old shouldn't be doing. But I was chasing that feeling. So it's something that was suppressed. It
Mm-hmm.
was suppressed.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And again, like I said, it just tears in my heart, because babies are so innocent, and
Mhm.
they don't know that this is what's happening to them. They don't even know that this is wrong, first and foremost. I mean, sometimes they kind of feel this not something ain't right about this, but I'm just saying, they're so innocent, and if an adult, is doing this, they may automatically think, oh, it's an adult. Maybe it's okay because it's this adult that's doing this. But I'm so sorry, first and foremost, that you had to live through that. But I see that God has taken it and turned it around, for you, and then also for you to be able to minister to other people, which is what He has done. You talked about that anger, and we're going to get into talking about your book. But this is so good, because I'm going to have you back on my show so we can talk a little bit more about this. But you talked about that anger, and you encourage the parents to make sure that they are, being, they understand, you have to know your child. I know my mom used to always say that. We recognize if they have that anger, and don't just let it be dismissive. You need to check that out if you're a parent. How important is that? I mean, I know you lived through it, but how important is that? And you want to get that across to people.
It's very important because when you really know your child and your child is calm, and then next thing you know, they're withdrawal, they're angry over everything. They're even angry that they were abandoned and rejection. Unbeknownst about the sexual part, but
Right.
the abandonment and the rejection takes a toll on that person, and it rips them from the inside out to where they don't even know. I didn't even know who I was. I didn't understand why I was just like closed off, afraid of people, afraid of this, afraid of that, unable to look at you. But I was, guess what? But I was chasing. I was chasing that feeling of masturbation. See,
Right.
it's so it I can break this up to where you're just like you won't even understand that being molested truly takes a toll on you mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, and we call that bankrupt. You are spiritually bankrupt to who you are, where you come from, and where you want to go. Unless for me, I had to realize that I had to get clean first, and then I met my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So there are just so many levels. So I tell you, parents, please take a deeper look.
Yeah.
There's so much going on in the world that are
Mm.
trying to kidnap our children mentally as well as physically. So many different ways that you have to look at your child. You have to ask questions
Yeah.
because they like to keep secrets until you say, well, what's really going on with you? You have
Right.
to come from a place of love. You can't be yelling at them because they already closed off with everything that's going on in the world. Take your child, look them in the eye. There are so many points they will tell you what is going on if you really take a look. But I'm going
Yeah.
to tell you what, if one or both parents are coming from trauma, they won't see it. But they're
Mm.
dealing with their issues and they can't see that child for what's going on. It's
Mhm.
real.
It is.
They won't see it.
Yeah.
And they'll blame the child, but not take accountability of what's going on in the inside of them.
Mm.
I'm telling you, it's a harsh world, but we have to be accountable for the little meek meeks and the little Johns that's walking around getting outside information from the wrong people.
Yeah.
You got to start taking accountability and from a place of love and compassion.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, okay. I know we only had a few more minutes left. Like I said, I'm gonna have you back because that is a conversation in and of itself, a totally, another show, if you will. My background is in psychology, and I'm seeing so much and hearing so much in what you are talking about, and it needs to be addressed. So, thank you so much for sharing that and that background. And I wanted to do that because I knew it was going to catapult us into talking. We need to talk about your book real quick before we get out of here. So, um, identity deception, from wounds to worship. Can we say that this book was birthed because of your experience?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. And in a nutshell, what can you tell people, if they're going to go and purchase your book? What can they expect from your book?
Well, one thing I want you to understand, just because lesbianism wasn't your thing, wasn't something that you were a part of, if you were a part of abandonment as a child, rejection, anger, this book can help you. This book will lead you to a prayer life. This book will introduce you to God. We all have our own beliefs, but I believe in Christ Jesus, and that's who I stand with. And this book right here, you see, it says from wounds to worship.
Yeah.
What is you? From wounds to worship. Mine was that molestation, abandonment, rejection, the worship, getting
Mm.
to know God, getting clean, taking that message of hope, helping other recovering addicts, helping other men and women. It didn't matter because I sponsored men and women that go through a whole lot. And what we do is we keep silent.
Mm.
And when you keep silent, the reason why I've dealt with Crohn's because I suppressed a lot of my stuff. No one said, Meek Meek, you're going to be all right. No one said, little Meek Meek, you're beautiful. And if they did, I didn't feel it because of
Mm.
my wounds. And
Mm.
Christ is my worship. Hallelujah.
Ooh,
Glory to God.
you have a powerful, powerful story.
Jesus.
You have a powerful, powerful journey.
Mm,
And I can already see that God is just going to anoint you to be able to take this because you said something just a few seconds ago. They suffer. So many are suffering silently. And they don't
yes.
realize that others have possibly gone through the same thing that they have gone through. Others have possibly experienced the same thing that they've experienced. So when they hear from you, and hear about your journey and hear how you've gone through and how you came out on the other side, that's
Mhm.
going to help them. And so I firmly believe that this book is going to be a blessing to so many. And guys, again, look, you can look in on the ticker right here, the name of the book, Identity Deception: From Wounds to Worship by Tamika Strickland. You can go to Amazon. It is, you can get it in a paperback and also in an ebook. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And before we end on today, can you just give us maybe a few words of encouragement to those who are watching live, who will come back and watch later? Just, just a few words of encouragement, whether it's related to your book or just in life.
You know, life is life. But when we show up, when we live, when we feel, deal, and heal with our wounds to worship, don't be afraid of it. You know
Yeah.
why? Because God got you. Just like God had me in the palm of my head, even if I was shaky, shaky and insecure, that's something we learned about in the recovery process. Like, it's about
Yeah.
going forth one day at a time. And guess what? I'll stand in the gap for you until you understand who you are and whose you are. God bless you.
Ooh wee. Now, see, she done got me all riled up this morning. Or this afternoon, should I say? Listen to her. But I've heard her a little bit about her journey on a totally different interview that she had, and I have to have you back, Tamika. I'm just telling you that, and everybody else is listening. We have to get you back on Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette so that we can just talk to you, not just about the nomination that you've received, but about a little bit more about your background, because again, I believe it's going to help someone else. As we're parting on today, can you tell us what this nomination means to you through Distinguished Authors Guild?
I was told by someone, you should put your book in. Dr. Carolyn Stevens. I was introduced to her through I Am a Black Woman Next Level. I was a part of that. And that's how I was connected to her. She was like, Tamika, just put in the information, do what you need to do. Now I'll put it in, and I'm like, God, your will, not mine, be done, because you birthed this book out, honey. It wasn't nobody but God.
Yeah.
So just to be nominated made me feel grateful. I'm grateful for the nomination. I'm grateful that I'm going to Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada, for this nomination. I'm grateful. Because if we can do it, you can do it.
That's
Don't
right.
let fear stop you. Because see, God is not giving you a spirit of fear, but love, power, and of a sound mind. So if we can do it, you can do it. God bless you.
Beautiful. Tamika, thank you again. Thank you for your time on today, for sharing with us, for being transparent with us. Um, and I just appreciate you so much. And I bid you Godspeed. I pray that God will continue to bless you. And congratulations again on your nomination.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. All right, guys, as we're exiting, or she's exiting on today, we're going to get prepared to bring in our next guest. Also, again, go look on the ticker. You see the name of her book, Identity Deception: From Wounds to Worship by Tamika Strickland, and it's available on Amazon in a paperback and in an ebook. And I do see that a few of you that have come in on today, and I appreciate you for joining me. We know this is not our normal time for Mind, Body, and Soul on a Friday, but we're doing these special segments on talking with these authors that have been nominated through Distinguished Authors Guild. I have been blessed. My book has been blessed to be nominated, but I want to feature the other authors as well. And so we're going to, be entertained and go and partake in this wonderful gala, the award show for these nominations in November. But prior to, I wanted to talk to these authors, and I'm going to bring in my next guest on this afternoon. I see she's ready backstage, so we're going to bring her in. And look, this is hilarious because I just see Cat Cool. Cat, what is your real name? What's your real name? Uh-oh, I can't hear you. Let's make sure you're
Oh, can you
unmuted
hear
because
me?
we don't want to miss a thing.
Can
Oh
you
yes,
hear me?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
it's
Okay,
good. Okay. Okay.
what's your
Hi.
real name, honey?
My real name is Latoya Cadlet. And I go
Okay.
by the pen name.
So Cat Cool is your pen name?
Miss Cat is my pen name.
Okay, Miss Cat. Okay. All right, wonderful. Look, I'm like looking at her and then she's sending me a bio, but she still didn't put her full name in here. And I'm like, what is this
Oh,
child's real name?
oh,
Okay.
no.
I'm just gonna call you Miss Cat. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, everybody.
All right. And that's fine. And I get it. I understand. We have our brand names, our pen names and everything, our stage names, if you will. So we're gonna call him Miss Cat on today. How are you feeling on this afternoon?
I'm excited. I'm just excited, and I am just excited, and I'm humbled, and just joy is pure joy.
Beautiful, beautiful. You're a beautiful soul. All that I have met, all these authors have been beautiful people. I'm just glad again to make my acquaintance with them and to network with them. Let's see here. Let me read just a little bit what she gave me. She says she loves hanging out with God. She was born and raised in Trenton, New Jersey. She currently resides in North Carolina. She's an Army veteran. Okay. Thank you so much for your service. We appreciate you. A single mother of two amazing children, and she says they are her real life cheerleaders. Her why and her motivation. Her daughter's 10 years old and son 9 years old. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And she graduated from Winston-Salem State University. She loves to cook, especially baking every unique dessert her children can think of. That's adorable. How adorable. Okay. And then we're going to make sure that we put the link to her book in our comment section so it'll be highlighted as well. So let me make sure I get that out as we're talking on today. So, Kat, I've read just a little bit about you from what you've given me. Why don't you do me a favor and explain to us who is Miss Cat? Who is Miss Cat in your
Miss
own words?
Miss Cat, man, I am a bubbly, fun, not crazy in a bad way, but a crazy cool, crazy cool single mom. And my children, they wow me. So I was on a path. I had my own vision for my life, but when my children came along, everything shifted to them. I was like, forget what I want to do. I'm here for these babies. And they are just so much fun. Everything I do is inspired through them. They amaze me. The
Oh,
things
that's
they
so
say,
sweet.
they do. Like my children, when I say my children are my life, they are my life, and my children are hilarious. So I
Oh,
just enjoy them, and I'm gonna, because they grow up so fast, and I see it. I'm like, I feel like I was just holding them, and they're like 9 and 10, and they're like, okay, mom. I'm like, wait. They're like, okay, mom.
right. You want them to stay little for a long time, huh?
Yes. So I just like just be enjoying life and just enjoying my moments with them. I just love, because I know they're growing up fast, and I know in a few years when they 13, 14, they're gonna be gone.
Right, right. And they're gonna be like, oh, I don't want the hugs and all that, or don't show in front of my friends type thing. So yeah, I get it. I understand. The name of your book is that When God Speaks, is that right?
Yes, when God speaks.
Okay. Okay. When God Speaks. Guys, I'm gonna put this into the comment section on Facebook. I'm not going to forget about you over here on Instagram and YouTube. I'll do it there as well because we want you to make sure that you purchase this book. If you go and look her up, it is available on Amazon. I believe this link has here. So we'll put this here. And make sure you guys follow her as well. So let's make sure we have it on the ticker on today. But yeah, let's see. When God speaks, oh my goodness, that in itself is a title that will get us to talking. When God speaks, how were you inspired to write this book? And maybe give us a synopsis of what it's about.
So I was inspired. I was down. I was going through some stuff, and it's like you hear like I grew up in the church and all that, but then you grow up in the church and you move away from the church, and I'm aware of things, but I'm not fully in it. So
Right.
when I was having my hardship and I was going through my time, when I say God just came out of nowhere, and it's shocking because, and people act when I tell a story, people be like, "Was it the ha ha ha?" And I'm like, God is nothing like what we see in movies and TVs. I'm sure He can be this great grand, but when He's drawing you in, He is the smoothest, coolest, laid back entity. Like He blew me away, and He was so smooth, and He just so calm. Everything He just calm, and I'm like, God, why are you so calm? And I'm going crazy, and He just like He'll let me have my moment. And He be like, and He does. He has it. He's like, are you done? He's like, are you done? Okay,
Okay.
let's do this now. And He'll let me have my fits and my rants. And then He'll be like, he'll wait. And then when I'm done and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to hear what you got to say. And He'll
Right.
guide me. Do this. So when I was just down, oh my God, I was going through it. I was about to lose my house, everything. And I was in my room. My kids was downstairs watching TV. I was in my room crying because I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I was like, I am stuck. I don't know what to do. And I was just stuck. And then I felt, if when you feel God, like it is this, He fills this whole space. It's just power, energy, just power. Like it's noticeable because you just feel it. He just filled up my whole space, and you sense it. And I was like, what the heck? What is happening? What's happening in my room? And He's just like, why aren't you asking for help? Why aren't you asking me for help? I'm right here. And it's like, but we so far removed from God, we don't realize He's with you. He really is there with you all the time. And when He says, ask me, He really means like, open your mouth and ask me to help you. Open your mouth. And he had to teach me that too, because I was in my head, like I'm tripping. I was like, I'm so far gone. I'm hallucinating. And He assured me, He's like, you were fine. He said, I am here and I am talking to you. You asked me for help. He was like, I am here to help you. Let me help you. And it was just like, what? Like, I don't go, like, at that time, I don't go to church. I wasn't reading my Bible. I wasn't doing nothing but living my life, at least how I thought. And he was there. And it's like, this overwhelming of when they say in the Bible, I really felt like, how is He here? I'm not worthy. Like, I don't do what I'm supposed to be doing, spiritual wise, or I'm not doing none of that. And He made Himself available. He showed Himself to me. And I just felt like, I'm not worthy of this because I'm not doing anything. Like, how is He here? And for Him to say, like He says, when He says, I love you. When I say I don't know love until God showed me love. Oh my God. I don't even know the words. It's love. Like, what we humans think is love is not how
Mm-mm.
God sees it. It is amazing. It is the most amazing feeling thing. And I hope, my prayer for this book, I really want people to read it, and I really want them to be motivated to get on the path to having that direct relationship with God, because it's real. I'm like, y'all, it is real. If anybody could, it is real. He is there. Reach out to Him, seek Him out, and He will come. He will show up. When I get it, I used to hear people say, God gonna show up and show out. And I used to be like, why they say that? But I'm it.
Right, right.
It like, oh, God then showed up and showed out in my life. And I
Yes.
am so thankful, and I've never been so happy and just joy. Now, like joy, all these words, I am feeling it, and I am finally understanding, like, oh, this is what that is. This is how that
Right.
feels. And it's amazing. And I'm just like, y'all need God in your life. Get God in your life. He is amazing. And he's just love. Oh my God. I don't know how to explain it, but it's
No,
just
you're so
amazing.
good.
It's amazing. When I
And
was,
yeah, as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking, and I always come back to this. Our journey is not for us alone. When we go through different things, we go through situations and stuff, God knows exactly what's happening, okay? He
right,
knows when you're going to get down to that last or whatever, or get to that point and you're like, God, I just can't do it. I need help or whatever. Or when you get to the point where you sitting in the room crying and didn't even ask him, like you said, okay, let me go on in here this room and let me talk to Miss Latoya. Let me talk to Miss Cat. I don't know if you was Miss Cat at that point, but let me talk to her and just let her know I got her, but she needs to talk to me. It's almost like, he's just kind of waiting, just sitting there looking at you, just watching you, can you talk to me, please? Can you tell me what's going on in your mind? Just ask me. Like you said, he said, just ask me. And I think we all get to that point where it's almost like we are self-reliant and we think that we can do this thing, whatever it is. And then we're able to do some things, but then when it gets so overwhelming for us, we should have taken the mentality that I just need to reach out to God no matter how big or how small it is. But he has, again, get us to that point. And I see that's what he did with you. You said you weren't even living for Christ at that point. You weren't doing what you were supposed to have been doing, but yet he talked to you. And see, that shows the love of God. That shows how he loves you so much. Okay, look, I'm all up in your book. Look, I'm
no,
on, I'm
you,
on I'm on Amazon. I'm looking at this really cute picture you got on here about the author. This is so cute of you, honey. You take some cute pictures. But it's amazing to me because this picture here shows that confidence that God gave you. That's what this picture shows me. And I'm like, wow, it's amazing. So now you have written 4 books, but
yes,
published 3 of those books.
yes.
So the book, When God Speaks, what number was this? What number book was this?
That was, let's see, my children's book. That was the second book.
That was the
So,
second one.
so yep, that was the second one. I did long time ago when I had just had my kids. I wrote this parenting book because I was, my daughter, my firstborn. That was a learning curve because first time mom. I know, I don't know nothing about parents, and I used to talk to other parents, and they'd be like, "Girl, this thing don't come with a book. Girl, you just got to go with it and figure it out on your own." And I'm like, "What? I'm struggling. I'm struggling." So I said, "You know what? I'm gonna figure this out, and I'm gonna write about it." And that's what I did. I'm messing with my
Wow.
daughter. My daughter taught me so much when I dedicate that book to her because I learned. I learned that I don't have the stamina. They can outstand stamina me, and I just she took me through it,
Wow.
but not in a bad way. Just just me learning and being a new mom, and I was always tired, and I was like working and coming home and having to get her together, and I just be so tired from work. I'm like, I don't feel like giving her a bath tonight. I just want to lay down, but
Yeah.
she come on me and crawling, and she be smelly. I said, okay, let me get this baby. I like, come on, let me
Right.
just So I just went through a learning curve with her, and I am thankful for it because when my son came along, I had okay, I got this now. I know how to do
Yeah.
this.
You
So
you weren't you weren't a novice at that point, so you understood what to do.
yeah,
Okay, so you have When God Speaks, the Real Deal Parenting Guide. I
mhm.
think I probably switched those two, and then you have Basic Information Guide 2021 for telemetry text and monitor text. Is that
Yes,
right?
yes,
And then step by, you see how my face was,
yes.
step by step guide on how to establish a business structure. And this is a Book Fest award winner. So, I kind of, you get into that telemetry text and monitor tech. What can I ask real quick? What was that book about?
So that book is about basically. So I have my job outside of writing. I have my daytime job, and I'm a certified cardiovascular tech at the hospital. And a lot of people, when they hear that, they don't really know what we do. And
No.
this book came about not really for me to publish it, but the book came about to help my coworkers, because everybody come from different walks of life into this field. And so we were all sitting around one night just trying to figure out how to make it line up, because we had so many new texts coming in and everything was kind of mumbled. So we was like, let's lay this out and make one guide for the new text.
Yeah.
But then when I was on the floor, it's like we kind of float around the hospital. When I was on the floor and I was just going through the notes, one of the nurses, because the nurses, you know, we work, nurses were cardiology, so we deal with cardiologists and nurses. And one of the nurses was like, man, I could use that book. She was like, man, I'm just coming out of nursing school, and you talk about the way you describe the heart and the heart rhythms. She said, man, that would really be helpful for nurses. Then I was like, ooh, hold up now, this might be something. So then I created the book, like maybe within a week after her. I created a little sample book and I took it to all the nurses, because I was like, I'm going to sell this to all these nursing students. And I took it to a bunch of nurses, and they were all like, I need this book in my life. I need to learn, you know, the heart, the anatomy of the heart. I need to learn the heart rhythms. And yeah, they were like, oh my gosh, where'd you get this book? I said, I just made this $10 if you need it. So it started out like that, and now like nurses from just different hospitals and nursing schools, everybody's like, they want to get a copy of that book. And I was just like, wow, we just did it for our department to help the regular cardiovascular techs. Now it's starting to kind of go out, and everybody's like, you know, you should sell this to nursing students. So I am getting on that right now. I'm getting ready to get that published and out there to have access to all healthcare personnel, nursing students, to help them out.
All right, Miss Cat, aka Latoya, I see you, girl. I see you. Do your thing. I love it. I love it. She got some smarts too, y'all. Okay, all right. Let's get back to this book. When God Speaks. Can I ask you what your passion is, and is it connected to this book, to the title of the book or the contents of the book? What is your passion first?
So my passion, honestly, cooking. I have a small side business where I cook, I do all my food and baking. Like, I love being in the kitchen. I love cooking and baking. And, you know, that's what I really enjoy. And I, you know, cooking with my kids. I just love to do that. So,
Okay.
but the book, honestly, the title with that book and everything it came from God. Like, when I was writing it, I was right. So much was happening so fast that as I was writing it, I was like, man, I'm going to write this so I don't forget it. I don't know why I thought I can't forget. The moment was amazing. I couldn't forget it. But in that moment, I was like, I want to write this down. I don't want to forget everything I just experienced, everything, you know, God is telling me, showing me. I just want to write it down for my own thing. And then one day I was sitting there writing. God is so funny. So I'm writing it, and he's over my shoulder. He's like there, and he's looking, and I'm like, okay, God. And I'm just typing along. And he's like, good. He's like, yes, I like it. Good. And I was like, okay, great. I said, I'm going to type this up and tuck it away. And he said, when God speaks, I like that. He said, that should be when God speaks. And I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just typing, and he's saying throwing little things out there as I'm going along. And when I finally finished the book, it was just on my heart to just say, okay, this is when God speaks.
Yeah.
So that's how that came out. So
Okay, so it was God inspired. Now listen, some of y'all may be looking at her like, what is she talking about? God was telling her this and telling her that. When you have a relationship with God and you develop that relationship with him, you nurture it, and you know, oh, he will speak to you, and you will know that it's him. You know, I know the enemy be trying to talk in our ear, but no, we know when it's God.
it's
So
really,
I am right there with you. I totally understand what you're saying. But you know, and then, you know, even when you put out something like that, whether it's a book, you want to make sure that it is glorifying God. And I know you wanted the title and its contents to make sure that it did just that. We appreciate you listening to God. When was this published? What year?
about 2 years ago. We're 2020.
Okay.
yeah, like 21, 20. Oh, yeah, like 2020, because it was right at the beginning of COVID. Yes, yep. Yes, it
Okay,
was.
okay. Wow. All right. So let me ask you now. Now, this is a personal question. So now you mentioned about how you were kind of devastated and some things you were going through and dealing with and you were crying about. And that's when God spoke to you. And that's kind of was the catalyst for this particular book. What was resolved in your personal life, either before, during, or after the book? Or were things resolved? Should I ask you that?
So, so it's a little bit of yes and no. So
Okay.
yes, in a sense. So what got me down was my finances. I mean, I thought I was doing great with my money and all that stuff, but then when I stopped. I was working full time. I was doing great. I was like on top. But then I was like, okay, I'm going back to school. I'm gonna get my degree, and I didn't plan this right. I literally. So I'm an action taker. If I see something, I'm gonna do it. I'm jumping on it. I didn't think this through. I went to Once I got into Winston-Salem State, when I got that welcome letter and classes started, I went to my job and I said, I'm dropping down to part-time. Boom, drop my hours. I'm going to school full-time. And then first semester, bam, my bills came. I was like, why I ain't got enough money to pay my. I was like, what's going on? Where is my money going? And I
Right.
realized, wait a minute, I done dropped my hours at work. And I didn't plan any contingencies for that. And I got into a bind with my finances that just was like, I said, I'll never do this again. I will make sure I better plan. If I'm going to cut my work hours, I'm going to make sure I got something else going on that's going to substitute that income so I can stay on top of my bills. I learned that lesson because I just knew, and it also taught me too. Like I am an action taker, but it also taught me too. Whenever I'm ready to jump, stop and think first, because I was good for that. I was. Woo, anybody who knows that they said, Latoya, just go, 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 go. I'm ready. As soon as I'm ready. Do what? Let's go. I'm ready. Let's go. Now I'll be like, let's go, but then I say, hold Latoya, slow down, think real quick. Okay, is it good? Assess it. Look at it. All right, let's go. Okay, let's go.
Okay, okay.
No, I
So you
definitely.
you take time out more to kind of, lay out the land, or, make sure that you're not jumping immediately into something. You want to check it out first. Okay.
So
I
that
get,
was definitely.
life experiences will do that to you. It will definitely do that to you. Oh boy, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. Okay, so let me ask you real quick. Did you ever doubt yourself or your ability to write these books?
Yes, because
And what did you
I
do about that?
I just kept going because you know what? I never would have thought I would be a published author. That was never on my radar. And in the beginning, I'm just either writing for my own personal thing or, just writing. But then when some people who I haven't shown all my family, but the small few, my sister or my cousin, they'll be like, this is really good. And I'll be like, really? You think so? Okay. And then I was like, well, shoot, let me just put it out there. Let me see what happens. And my main thing is, especially for my business book, is really let me see if I can help someone.
Okay.
Because I had a little hiccup with creating a business too that I had learned so many lessons from. And I would meet people. So like when I set up for flea markets on the weekend, people would come say, hey, how did you come to be here? How did you do this? And I would just tell it to them. But I know when I was trying to get there, nobody wanted to tell me. Like people want to hold the information. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
why you can't just tell me? Why are you being all, finicky with the information? So I said, you know what? Anybody who asks me, if I have the answer, I'm gonna give it to you. Like, I'm not gonna be crazy or charge you $100. You want to know how to do this? Here's how you do it. I hope this helps you. Go be great. So that's
Beautiful.
kind of my
Beautiful.
real motivation. I really want to just put it out there and help people, especially if I meet people in person. I'll be telling, look, here, do this, do that. And some of my friends, they be like, why you be giving out all your stuff? I said, why not? I'm already done it. Like the
Yeah.
information has already helped me. So why not freely pass it to help someone else? I was like, it
Yeah.
don't hurt nothing to I just pass it along. Why not?
Well,
So
you have a big heart because they're right. Some people they're like, no, I'm not going to share anything. They want people to just crawl and scratch, get to the point where they are. But we are willing to help somebody else out. Yeah, I believe God is pleased with that. So that's amazing that you have that big heart. Okay, so what difference do you endeavor to make with this book, and what are your next steps or goals?
I definitely want to encourage people to get to know God on your own. And I know it's cliche and people hear it, but when I say, I just told one young lady, because she was asking me, she was like, how do I get to God on my own? And I said, just talk to him, not just in your head, because sometimes you be in your head. And I said, one thing he taught me, open your mouth and speak to me, like speak. And I tell people, I said, you have to speak with your, like, open up your mouth and really talk. And she was like, I sound crazy. I said, the best time I talk to God, I'm in my car 80% of the time. So when I'm sitting in my car, I'll be in there cutting up with God. I'll be in there talking to God. We be cutting up, and he's so much fun. I be telling you, I'm like, y'all don't understand. God is so much fun, and he is he is the coolest guy. Like, some of the stuff God say to me, I'll be like, but you God, you can't say that. He is he is amazing. And I'll be like,
Wow.
speak to him, get to know him, let him draw you in. He will come to you and he will amaze you because he has blown my mind. He is amazing. So I
Beautiful.
definitely want people to really don't be afraid. Don't think you're crazy sitting there just talking to the air, space. God is there and he's listening. He is there.
Mhm.
And I tell you, he is the ultimate multitasker. Like, he literally is in everything, everywhere, all the time, always. He blew my mind. So he is there waiting for you. He want to talk to you. He wants you to talk to him. He wants that relationship with all of us. And open up, give it to him, and it's amazing. So I
Beautiful.
definitely want that. And what's next for me? I'm literally working on a part 2. Because
Oh,
since I've written that book, since I've written God Speaks, God has taken me on this journey. I have learned so much these past 2 years that I got to build. Like, something as simple like the baptism. So I speak about baptism, in the book. But I just went through 3 weeks ago, I went through an adult baptism. And
okay.
man, that thing went so deep. God showed me it's so much deeper. I got to write about it. I got to write about it because it's one thing. Okay, the baptism on the surface means this, but
Yep.
when he goes deeper with it, he took me so deep with this baptism. It blew my mind. I'm like, do people know that that's what you see? This, like, God, this is how you see.
Wow. Wow.
Yes, this is what it means. He says, so when you're baptized, it all ties into the resurrection, the death and the resurrection of Christ. And when you go under the water, out of the water, how God sees, like, how it is meant and symbolizes to God. Like, he just blew my mind. I said, oh Lord, I gotta write about this. I said, people know that this is what a baptism is.
Beautiful.
I'm
See,
definitely working on part 2 because that's a whole lesson in itself. Because I'm
it
still blown
is.
away. I have never been told of a baptismal the way I just experienced it. It's
Experienced it.
amazing. It's
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, obviously, God has his hand on you. Congratulations on your next steps and all you're doing. And again, congratulations on this nomination. Now, what does this nomination through Distinguished Authors Guild mean to you?
Oh man, it means a lot. It means that I really want to tell, like the other author said, like, you can do it. Don't think that, oh, I don't have nothing to say, or this is already be done. Like, you're different. There's like a billion humans, and there's a billion different people on this earth, and your one difference can mean something. Your experience means something. You can definitely help someone, or by sharing your experiences. And just because, there's not enough of us, African American authors, like, get your stuff out there telling our stories. I love the
Right.
idea for us to tell our own stories, and
Mhm.
to help more of our people and get out there. And they're not the only ones. Everybody's going through something, and if they can see that, hey, you went through this and you wrote a book and it was nominated for an award, yeah, you can do
Okay.
it too. So get your stuff out there, submit it for these awards. And who knows, like, I would have never thought, when I say I just submitted it because I was just like, oh, let me, not thinking, oh, it could ever win. I was like, well, let me submit it. The main thing I really wanted, though, when I submit for the awards, I like the critique of the book. That's what really made me want to submit it, because I'm like, family and friends is cool. They'll tell you, oh, it's you, that's cute, you wrote a book. I said, no, I want a real life critique. Like, I really want to know, somebody be honest with me and tell me, like, for real, what this book really mean? Like, how does it read to you? Because my family, they think
Exactly.
I'm nice.
No,
So,
I get it. I totally understand. I was feeling the same way. You want to be able to hear, how it affects others or how others are blessed by it, or, were you able to relate to it? Those who are outside of your circle, that's going
right,
to kind of give you the real. Not that your family wouldn't, but I'm just
right.
saying you kind of want to hear from others as well. So that's beautiful. Yeah, well, it's a blessing to be nominated, and I know you're excited. Now, will you be at the award show in November in Vegas?
I'm trying. I am trying to get there. I've been like, God, please let me get there. I have a situation. I have a court. I have to be in court November 8th. And I have
Okay.
been trying to, like, reschedule that so I can get out there. And I have been like,
Yeah.
come on, please, please. I
Oh,
want to be there though. I want to be there so bad. And
okay.
I am thinking every little thoughts, every little thing I could think of. And my sister just made a comment. She said, court is in the morning. When you get out of court, just fly to Vegas. And I said, that's good. But I've been in court. And even though my court day schedule, they say be there at 8, they don't see me till 12. And I just be like,
Um,
come on.
you
I just
might
like,
be able to do it. You might be able to do it. Okay. All right.
I'm working
Well,
on
we'll
many.
pray. We'll just pray that God's will be done. Well,
Yes.
if you're there, I'll see you there. We'll get a chance to meet in person and make our acquaintance in person. So this is exciting. It's very exciting. So you continue on with doing what God has you to do, and we'll just be praying for you over here in Mind, Body, and Soul, and we'll have to try and have you back as a guest as well. All
Yes.
right.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I appreciate you taking time out on today.
Thank you. And congratulations to you as well, too. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, guys. So you see, When God Speaks by Miss Cat. Miss Cat has her books out. If you go to Amazon, here's the link. You see the last of that link, Latoya. I don't want to miss. I don't want to mess that up. Okay, make sure you go. Just click on the link. Yeah. She's also don't get mixed up because she's also Latoya, all right. But Miss Cat is that's her stage name, all right. So make sure that you follow her, you purchase. Oh, we see somebody that says they said congratulations on your nomination and they're purchasing it today. Thanks,
Oh,
Michelle. We appreciate that. Thanks for coming in and sharing with us. I see Shanna has joined us, the other host and other nominee. We thank you for coming in. She says, good afternoon. We appreciate it. Michelle did say earlier that she's loving this. Oh, Beatrice, I'm sorry I didn't recognize you. Thank you for coming in on today. And then Janice, I know you liked and share. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us and sticking with us. All right, guys, as Ms. Cat is exiting on today, I just want to remind you that we have this was the third installment today. And next week, we are going to display our final installment of DAG nominees. And I say DAG, that's the acronym for Distinguished Authors Guild. So we'll have them on next week and to interview them. Ms. Cat, thank you again. We appreciate you. You take care of yourself, all right?
all right. Thank you. Have a good day.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. And guys, before I end on today, I want to show you the promo for next week. Again, we have been highlighting the nominees for the Distinguished Authors Guild and our Authors Unite to Get Caught in the Net segment. And I have interviewed some wonderful, wonderful individuals. And somebody probably saying, well, why I can't interview myself, but I have been interviewed on other shows for my nomination as well. And I'm appreciative of that. Surviving a Silenced Heartbeat has been nominated, but we've been trying to highlight individuals. We have like a little media package, that goes with these nominations and everything. And if you see on our pages, many of us have displayed our the flyer for our nomination on our page. And so please make sure you support us, because this is a great, foundation. It's a great guild that we are involved in. And if we are encouraging you, if you have not purchased your ticket, please make sure you do so. Now, I'm going to tell you, you can either get a virtual ticket or you can purchase an in-person ticket. In person, of course, if you want to come on and fly out to Vegas with us, with the nominees, and participate in this wonderful, wonderful award show. Or you can purchase a virtual ticket. So you can go, and I'm going to make sure I put the link for you to purchase a ticket. The proceeds from the ticket purchase are going to go towards $1,000 scholarships for 10 college freshmen. So we want to support our students, right? And we had Gina Gatson on, who is the founder and CEO of Distinguished Authors Guild. And she talked about how she really, really wants to have these scholarships for these individuals. So when you purchase a ticket, know that it's going for a good cause. It is going towards $1,000 scholarship for 10 different freshmen, college students. Okay. So we need your help. We need your help. Please make sure that you go and you purchase these tickets. Don't be shy. Now, if you're going to go and you're going to purchase on my behalf, my code is SASH. So the acronym for my book, SASH, 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 Surviving a Silenced Heartbeat. Make sure that if you're going to support me and you're saying I'm purchasing this ticket on behalf of Annette Harris and her book, Surviving a Silenced Heartbeat, make sure you put that code hashtag SASH when you go to Eventbrite. Again, Distinguished Authors Guild, and that is the name of the guild and the nominees. It's been a number of us that have been nominated in our different genres, in our different categories. So we want to make sure that you are supporting us. Here, let me play this. This is just my mention of my nomination. Take a listen. This is Annette Harris. All right, guys. So that is just my little clip of the nomination. I am honored and blessed to be nominated, or my book to be nominated for the Distinguished Authors Guild, in my genre. So make sure you guys support. I'm going to try and do more pushing and promotion of this, because we want you guys to get your tickets, and we want you to support us, and then which will in turn support the students that are getting the scholarships. Okay. All right. All right. So you've had an opportunity to meet a number of authors, of the other authors. You can always go back and look at the live feeds that I've done already, starting with last Friday. A week ago from today, October 6th, we had evening sessions. And then on Wednesday, we had afternoon sessions with these authors. And again, we just really encourage you to support the Distinguished Authors Guild. You are going to be supporting our freshmen, and scholarships are needed, right? College is expensive. So whatever we can do to help would be very much appreciated. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you on Wednesday, and I want you to take a look at this next session promo vid for next week. We're going to feature more authors. Thank you again for your time on today. I appreciate you. Take care. On the next session of Get Caught in the Net,
get caught in a net with